Would you welcome Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel?
Lovable Siskel and Ebert have made some strange calls over the years. Whether it's Siskel giving thumbs down to Scorsese's Casino.
So a mixed review, but ultimately thumbs down for me.
Thumbs down?
Yep.
I'm astonished.
Why?
Or Ebert proclaiming Cop and a Half as the best film of the 1990s.
It's amusing, it moves, and somewhat to my surprise, I liked it.
Wow, where's your big red suit and beard, Santa? You just gave them a gift.
They've both made their fair share of questionable calls.
But I voted thumbs down on Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, and I voted thumbs up on Benji the Hunted.
But none of those compare to their bizarre review of 1986's The Hitcher. This time, we're not just disagreeing with their opinion. This time they're factually wrong. Like most great horror films, The Hitcher is based on a premise of pure simplicity. A young man driving through the lonely byways and highways of Texas picks up a hitchhiker who turns out to be a homicidal maniac. Oops.
You got any idea how much blood jets out of a guy's neck when his throat's been slit?
The young man is pursued by the Hitcher, who commits a series of increasingly violent attacks. Police assume the young man is the killer, trapping him in a Kafkaesque world where no one believes him. When Siskel and Ebert reviewed The Hitcher, they came out of the gate swinging.
Our next film is the disgusting, meaningless shocker called The Hitcher.
The movie is extremely sick.
The movie stuck in their craw so badly, they were still crying about it months later, during an appearance on the Johnny Carson show.
The violence in The Hitcher right now, seeing The Hitcher was one of the most unhappy experiences I've had in the movies in a long time.
And that was one that we really agreed on. In fact, I was kind of surprised because I didn't know whether Gene would like it or not. It's very slick. I didn't know. It's very technically smooth.
I'd have to be subhuman.
It's very
to like
well
that
made,
film.
and it is...
Subhuman? Really? This coming from the guy who idolizes the racist clowns on Saturday Night Fever?
Saturday Night Fever in 1977, December of 77. I ended up seeing that picture 10 times. That picture spoke to me, I felt personally.
Come on, get away!
You know, you're such a fucking cock teaser. Sharp as you can look without turning into a nigger.
Or a spick.
Spick. Would you put your dick in a spick? Does it get bigger in a nigger?
You fucking cunt! You're fucking... Stop it! You stop it!
Gene bought John Travolta's suit.
Now you're a cunt.
Now, there's nothing wrong with not liking a movie, but I'm troubled to see two respected critics willfully misrepresent the film just to justify their negative reaction.
That movie really violates you. That movie shows you ugliness that you have to take home at night and think about as for a short time as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Now, I have nothing against violent films as long as they try to make some sense or put some kind of spin on their violence. Violent films have made my best 10 list, but The Hitcher was simply non-stop mayhem.
Does Gene understand the target audience for this movie? I'm surprised the producers didn't use that quote in the advertisement. Non-stop mayhem, raves Gene Siskel. The Hitcher certainly has some action scenes, such as police chases and shooting down helicopters. But long stretches are quieter, scenes that rely on atmosphere and suspense. The Hitcher implies a lot of its violence. We never see the slaughtered family inside their car. The entire police station massacre occurs off camera. But you wouldn't know that by listening to Siskel and Ebert.
There's a scene in that movie where there was a woman who was tied up between two trucks.
Torn
and she was
apart, that's
torn
correct.
apart.
Tied between two trucks, and then yes, the trucks go this way and her body goes that way in two parts.
No, we never see Jennifer Jason Leigh pulled apart by the two trucks. The buildup is certainly intense, but in the end it cuts to black. The scene is left up to your imagination. I bet a lot of people who went to see the film were pissed off when that scene was nowhere near like what Gene describes.
The trucks go this way and her body goes that way in two parts.
And I was sitting there thinking, it will never happen. We will never see the scene where he puts his foot on that pedal, and he did. And I thought, I was thinking, if this happens in this movie, then there's no hope.
Roger doesn't do much better. Just listen to his convoluted interpretation of the ending.
They're trying to make some kind of a statement. And the statement they're trying to make turns out to be a very sick one because, of course, the symbolism at the end of the movie indicates that this young man, having now killed the Hitcher, has become the Hitcher. In other words, this will become his mission to go and find another young victim and torture him.
Wait, did you get the impression the kid was going to take the place of the Hitcher and start killing people? Of course not. Roger expands on this idea in his printed review, where he writes, "The Hitcher begins and ends with the same sound, a match being struck. At the beginning of the film, the sound is made by the villain, a hitchhiker who is a mass murderer. At the end of the film, the sound is made by the hero. The movie seems to be telling us, by use of the sounds, that the killer and the hero have developed some kind of deep bond through their shared experiences. Now, how does Roger jump from that to suddenly the kid's looking for a new victim to torture? And guess what? Roger is mistaken about the match flare motif, as the first sound on the soundtrack is not the villain striking a match, but the hero. In fact, when the Hitcher does light a cigarette, he uses a disposable lighter, not a match.
Scare you?
Yes, through the movie we see little hints that the violence has created a bond between predator and prey. But I'm not sure how Ebert's confusion about the match striking at the beginning and end of the movie means the kid has now become the villain. I mean, if you're going to argue the match means anything, wouldn't it make more sense to say it symbolizes a return to normalcy? The kid has arrived back to that innocent moment just before he met the Hitcher? Yeah, I'm voting Ebert's got his head up his ass on this one. "20 years later, Michael Bay produced a remake of The Hitcher. While it follows the same beats of the original film, a series of significant changes reduces the tension and nightmarish atmosphere of the original. Instead of being about a young man traveling alone, isolated, we have a kid and his girlfriend teaming up against the sadistic Hitcher. We never feel as afraid for them as we would if they were on their own. The Hitcher 2007 ignores the subtlety of the original. I mean, it's a Michael Bay movie, how could it not? Whether it's blasting 9-inch nails during a chase scene, or delivering the shot of the body tearing in half, it's clear this version wants the audience to laugh and cheer. Over 30 years after its original release, The Hitcher remains an effective, suspenseful thriller, one with no shortage of fans. Stephen King himself selected The Hitcher as one of his picks to screen at this summer's British Film Institute Festival to honor him and his work. King writes of The Hitcher, "What sets this apart, other than some spectacular stunts, is the amazing performance of Rutger Hauer as the mysterious and homicidal John Ryder. 'Where did you come from?' asks the terrified kid. 'Disneyland,' Ryder whispers back." Hey, wait a minute. He doesn't say that to the kid. He says that to the dorky-looking interrogator.
"Where are you from?"
Disneyland.
Jesus, are we the only ones paying attention to these movies?
I think a woman touching her breast, pulling it out of her bra, that's intended to be erotic, and I think it can be erotic.
Shenanigans. It's been a lot of fun, shenanigans. But now we've got to run. It's